Welcome to today's class. Today we're going to see about a stress testing. So before that we need to know what is stress testing. So this is nothing a type of stress testing which is performed when an application is loaded with a heavy loader. So within a maximum limit of allowed repeatedly, and sometimes the told on the application is increased beyond the maximum limit allowed for a short duration. So it is a type of non-functional testing, so which involves beyond normal operational capacity, often to be a breaking point, so in order to observe the results. So this is the stress testing. Okay, so in this it is a form of software testing that is used to determine the stability of a given statement. So it put greater emphasis on robustness, availability and error handling, so under the heavy load, so rather than on what would be considered correct behavior under normal circumstances. So the goals of such tests may be ensure the software does not crash in conditions in insufficient computational resources. So which means such as memory, disk space, network request, etc. So this testing is also called fatigue testing. So it is a fatigue testing. The next which we are going to see is the purpose or importance of stress testing. So what are the purpose and importance? So in this, the stress testing tries to break the system under the test by overwhelming its resources. So mainly, the main purpose of a stress test, make sure that the system fails and recovers easily. This quality is known as recoverability. So it can recover automatically. So this test can also be used to uncover data correction uses and hardware issues. So next one which we're going to see examples of stress testing. In order to perform stress testing, they need economic e-commerce application, means an extremely large number of visitors hitting the application is simulated using a stress testing tool. So this is listed later in the article. So number of visitors being simulated would be exponentially higher compared to the average number of visitors, so which is expected to visit the website on a day to day basis. So then these virtual users are programmed to execute common activities like viewing products, adding, removing the items from cart and purchasing the product, etc. So the number of the users are increased suddenly to the point of failure until the website crashes and it is not longer able to handle additional traffic. So these points that are noted are how the website behaves at this time and if it recovers gracefully. Okay, so the result of the test are used to identify bottlenecks, means performance improvement areas, recovery, failover mechanism, etc. So this testing of a website is very important in order to handle such sudden increases in a number of visitors. So which means a failure to handle such sudden increase could lead to loss. So this testing should to be successful. System should display an error message while it is under extreme stress condition. So should be able to recover once the load becomes normal. The next one is ingredients of stress test. What are the ingredients they have? So when it comes to the ingredient of a stress test, that is definition of its parameters. So what are the parameters they need to check for testing the stress? So it is important to determine what are the primary goal of stress test. So in order to perform a stress test in meaningful and useful manner, it is important to explore the economy and financial system of a country or institutions in which stress test is performed. So even though the best way is to include all relevant financial intermediaries, banks are mostly the ones which are subject to the test. So however, if a stress test is done in those countries where non-bank intermediate and more important and account for the significant or a bigger portion of a financial system, so they should also be included. Still, in most cases, banks are the ones included in a exercise as these are usually the most important part of the financial system through which majority of a payment system is done. So throughout which the contagion is likely to happen. So next one under the stress, under this, identifying the proper risk. The next important step in procedure is to identify the proper risk of a specific institution on which the stress test is done. So along with the selection of intermediaries, this step is a huge important, since this is how a tailoring according to a given country or a bank can be done precisely by analyzing its weakness. So this is possible cause effect relations. So the way whole process becomes more realistic and effective, and the results become more useful. So making the right decisions regarding the choice of the risk types also huge important. Furthermore, what has to be done is a shock calibration, that is defining the events with which the trigger shock and the level to which these shocks are to be materialized in the form of specific stress scenario. This is the first one. They need to identify the proper risk. After identified, they have a multi-step process. So what is multi-step process means? It has a several steps that are extremely important for the quality and creditability of the result. So these steps and models mentioned in a or used in an empirical part of thesis. So in this, they are presented graphically. The macroeconomic model is to be considered as a coherent stress. So next, the given kind of macroeconomic model does not include financial sector variables. Okay, so there is a necessity to include the so-called satellite mode, which is used to map macroeconomic variables. So this type of stress testing by formulating macroeconomic model whose variable have been forecasted into stressed values unauthenticated download. So this is the test under multi-step process. Third one, the design of the macroeconomic stress test. So which means it is a model can usually be done in three ways as a structural economic models. So the vector autogressive method, hereinafter, and a pure statistical approach. So many of these macroeconomics models are done in a parallel with the existing economic model used by the central bank and other authorities. So by this, these models were also used in a many stress tests performed by a central banks such as Bank of England, Bank of Japan, Bank of Spain, Bank of Europe, central banks. So both the structural and VR approaches this test on banks based on this test, which is known as a balance sheet, losses, capital adequacy ratio, and something else. So in this kind of model, loan performance measures are used to link these two models. So usually non-performing loans ratio. So the assumption behind the practice is that loan quality sensitive to the economic cycle. Unlike macroeconomic model, the credit risk satellite model can be estimated on the individual bank's data and even on the individual borrowers. This is the third one. And the fourth one, adverse macroeconomic scenario. So which means it is the adverse which will further be mapped to the banking sector. So the scenario analysis was performed, that is various macroeconomic variables exhibit negative forecasted levels. So together from a stressed scenario, these five variables perform a shock on the economy. So generally, the most commonly used macroeconomic variable in stress test means GDP, means gross domestic price, okay, growth, unemployment, short-term interest rate. So but is in the export growth, domestic consumption, the stock exchange index will be spread on a long-term interest rate, which means this is a proxy of a GDP growth. Overall, the growth of economy, the only variable available was industrial production. So given that it is already heavily used in the research analysis, IP was chosen to enter the model. So however, since it relies heavily on a tourism, so the assumptions was that without inclusion of the tourism of a macroeconomic scenario, overall economic growth would not be estimated as well as it should be. So with the inclusion of variable related tourism, two variables of great influence on the general economic activity, which are included in a model. So these two variables account for a major part of a percentage change in a GDP. Unemployment as a necessary variables of interest in constructing any type of macroeconomic analysis. So which is also included in this analysis. As far as the cost of lending is concerned, the weighted average lending interest rate used. So another variable is included in a customer price index. And this next which we're gonna see variables. So what do you mean by variable? Variable means the whole model along with the detailed description of the data and the assumption of correlation. Okay, these are all the variables. So under this, first we have to see about the variable. So it has a 3 or 4 types. You can see the correlation of the 4 types. Okay, the first one is a loan loss provisions, which means the monthly data are used for all variables on the aggressive level of whole banking sectors. So the variable is in the form of ratio, the percentage of a total loans, the length of the series. So these are the first one. Second one, stress testing of the banking system with the aggregated and bank. Then industrial production, which means monthly data are used in the form of index change in the yearly basis. So this variable along with the following one is used to a proxy of economic performance. So this is meaning that the lower GDP and higher LLP ratio. Next one, tourism denoted as a tour. Okay, this measured the number of tourist overnights in this negative correlation is assumed since tourism is the model and seen a proxy for the major part of the economic activity. And the next one, unemployment rate. So which means a positive correlation is assumption indicating that more people out of work indicate more non-performing loans and therefore more loan loss provisions. And the next one, consumer price index. So which is variable is assumed to be positively correlated with the loan loss provision since more costly items would imply that loans are more likely to become non-performing, cashing higher loan loss provisions. And finally, weighted average lending interest rate. So which means a positive correlation is assumed since the higher the interest rate, the higher cost of a loan, which leads to lower level of high quality loans. So then LLP ratio needs to be increased in order to account for a low quality loans now in use. And next we're gonna see types of stress testing techniques. So under this, the types of stress testing is first one, distributed stress testing. So which is known as how the stress testing will be distributed. So in this, all the clients who are linked with the server are tested. So this distribution of a group of a stress test to each one of the clients and follow upon their status. Each one of the clients, they will follow their status in the server role and responsibility. So by this, from the above diagram, server is able to communicate with the client 1 and 2, but it is unable to communicate with the client. So when there is a stress on the client server system. Second one is transactional stress testing. So which means as the name suggests transactions. Okay. This is perform stress testing taking place on a transactions that occur between the applications. The purpose of the transaction stress testing is to fine tune and optimize the system. Then third one is application of stress testing. So which means it is an application typically used in order to uncover defects linked to performance, network issues and data blockages and logs. So this is the application of stress testing. And then fourth one, exploratory stress testing. So which means the system is tested under abnormal conditions which will not likely to come up in a real time scenario. Examples are extreme large number of concurrent users. First one. Second one, database linked to the website and shut down when the website tries to reach it. The third one, data added in extremely large quantity in the database. This is the third one. And the fifth one, systematic stress testing. So which means it is used to test many systems that run in a server. So it enables the testing team to detect defects where data of one software blocks another software, where data blocks one to another. These are the types of stress testing. The next which we're going to see is how to do the stress testing, a methodology. Okay, how to do. These are the one by one. So steps used to conduct a stress testing are more or less similar to the steps used to conduct a performance testing. These are both similar, okay, more or less similar. So this is because stress testing is a type of performance testing. So under this, the first one, sorry, you can view that. First, identify the testing. Second, performance. And they will plan. Fourth, configuring. Fifth, implement. Sixth, execute test. So under this, the first one means identify the testing environment. How will they identify the environment? So based on this, it is a hardware or a software network configuration. They will test the tools available to perform the stress test. And second one, identify performance acceptance criteria. So which means which classify the metrics used to analyze the performance of the application under stress. So also pinpoint the success criteria of a stress test. Third one is plan and design stress test. So which includes creating a stress test plan. So which identifying test scenario. Fourth one, configure the test environment. So which means which used to prepare the test environment, tools, resources necessary to execute each strategy as features and components become available for test. And then fifth one, implement testing. So which means develop the stress test in accordance with the test design best practices. And then sixth one is execute test. Execute test is run and monitor the test. Once they have found the test and implemented, they have to run the test. How the test will be, they need to know the validated. So they have to run and monitor the test, validate the test, and test data, request cancellations, results collections. And finally, analyze the results. So which means consolidate and share the results data. So when all the metric values are within acceptable limits. So none of the set threshold have been violated and all the desired information has been collected. So you have finished testing the particular scenario on particular configurations. The next which we are going to see in asset liability management changes in behavioral analysis. How will it change in behavioral analysis? So under this we are going to see the behavioral scenario may include one or more models that apply a particular segments of records like age, season, rates, etc. So under this, impacting banking book products like current accounts, okay, saving accounts, overdrafts, loans. Though some of the behavioral analysis scenarios could be related to amortization profile for non-marketing maturing deals, which are current account, saving account, etc. So next, assess prepayment characteristics, which has major components of the behavioral modeling. So it is asset payment characteristic or volatile in nature depending on individual customers, which makes them difficult to predict. So there are a few inherent challenges in assets. And next we're going to see payment or behavioral modeling. So which means lack of historical data. So lack of historical data, validity and validation of assumption scenarios, balance sheet positions, lack of integration of different systems with a prepayment model and reports, and lack of dynamic simulations, reports, and validity profile, stickiness characteristics, and the variability and assets and liabilities, general interest rate levels, variability of assets and liability volumes, and modeling assets gaps, regulatory needs, and newer liquidity measurements, and increased capital requirements, ability of the bank to perform stress tests, and variance analysis to be performed, because once in 6 months to validate the assumptions. So they need to validate. These assumptions can be crystallized over a period which will facilitate near reality predictions. So which about future behavior of on off balance sheet items. So then the technical challenges in a setup and recording. And this qualification, quantification of all relevant behavior and creation of flexible forecast capabilities, and consolidation of a defined risk data elements like loan age, repayment, interest rate, etc. So then the translation translation of analyzed forecast resulting into existing ALM model input. So then defining and monitoring programs, which has prepare a strategic program to analyze the outcomes of the defined scenarios and implement a monitoring solutions to track the pattern of these scenarios. Then maintenance of output. So input maintenance over time and for a defined scenarios and data. So these are all the payment and behavior modeling. Under this mainly the stress testing. Okay. So mainly the stress test, how the stress testing they will maintain. So this is a type of software testing they will do in a software only. So which verify the stability and reliability of the system. So this test mainly measure the systems on its robustness and error handling. So these are the tests which are under this. So why it is stress testing and why it is useful? So they need to find it is useful of objectives to check stability of a product work with the boundary loads. So this involves tests that load much higher than operating load volumes on the product. So we usually use a pressure tool since it's usually impossible to manually create an overload. This is a stress testing. So this is mainly activity of determine the software testing beyond the limits of normal operations. So this is particularly important for a mission critical software. So this is a main thing, and it is also non-functional testing. So it is non-functional testing. Based on this, before that, how we gonna test means actually the testing will be in a performance, user interface, capability, okay, capability, load, volume, stress. These are the guide for the beginners. So how will they guide in the beginners means they will guide for the beginners. And then next in this we're gonna see planning the stress test. How will they plan and create the scripts execution, result analysis, tweaking the optimization. So these are all the test testing suits. So mainly which is mainly in the model impact of scenario means it is a stressed cash flow, stressed financial and P&L. Though this is all are stressed. So liquidity gap and ratios to stressed VAR. So these are the reporting and disclosed information included internally and externally. So the risk and controls are reporting. Business intelligence and capital planning, credit limits, liquidity planning and assets growth adjustment. These are all the main thing in the integration in risk appetite. Mainly the bank stress test is bank stress is mainly concern investment, credit risk, liquidity, environment. So based on the investment, it is a trading and control failure, mispricing, model validation, calibration, concentration, trade runs into position without an exit. Then credit risk is mainly concentration and overexposure. And finally, assets bubbles, underestimating default risk, overestimating loan to values and all. Under liquidity, exits and market panics holding the capacity. So funding choices and roll over the risk. Then market moves and shocks. So external factors leading to systematic defaults and market lockdowns. Though these are the evaluation of a bank stress test. So by this, today this class is over. We'll see in next class with the next topic. Thank you all. Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we're gonna see in ALM term deposit. So what is a term deposit? Before that we have to know the meaning for term deposit. This is nothing but when an account holder deposits a fund at a bank. Okay, the bank can use the money to lend to the other consumers or a business. So in return for the right of the use, these funds are lending. So this will pay the depositor compensation in the form of interest on the account balance. So with most deposit accounts of this nature, the owner may withdraw their money at any time. This makes it difficult for a bank to know ahead of a time how much they may lend at any given time. So to overcome this problem, banks offer term deposit accounts. A customer will deposit or invest in one of these accounts, agreeing not to withdraw their funds for a fixed period in return for a higher rate of interest paid on the account. This is the meaning for a term deposits. So mainly it has the interest earned on a term deposit account is slightly higher than the paid means standard savings or interest bearing checking accounts. So the increased rate is because of the access to the money is limited for the time frame for the term deposits. So the term deposits are an extremely safe investment and are therefore very appealing to conservative. So low risk investors, the financial instruments are sold by banks, thrifts, institutions and credit unions. The term deposits sold by the banks are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which means FDIC. So the NCUA means National Credit Union Administrations provide the coverage for those sold in the credit unions. So this is the term deposit. So by this, how a bank uses the term deposit, how the bank uses the term deposits. So by which we have to see how it is using. So this is the, if a customer places money in a term deposit, the bank can invest the money in other financial products that pay a higher rate of return, so than what the bank is paying the customer for the use of their funds. So the bank can also lend the money out to its other clients, therefore receiving a higher interest rate from the borrowers as compared to what the bank is paying in interest for the term deposits. For example, a lender may offer a 2% rate for term deposit with 2-year maturity. The funds deposited are then structured as a loans to borrowers who are charged 7% in interest on those notes. So the difference in rates means that the bank makes the net 5% return. So the spread between the rate that bank pays its customers for deposits and rate it charges its borrowers is called net interest margin, means NIM. So net interest margin is a profitability metric for a banks. So by this, the banks are businesses. Okay, as such, they want to pay the lowest rate possible for term deposits. In this, a charge term, so which is a charge term, is mainly higher rate of borrowers for loans. So this practice increase their margins or profitability. By this, however, there is a balance that the bank needs to maintain. So if it pays too little interest, it won't attract new investors into the term deposit. Also, they have charged too high of the rate on a loans, so it won't attract new borrowers. So mainly, the term deposits and interest rates are consumers are more likely to purchase term deposits since the increased cost of borrowing makes savings more attractive. Also, with higher market interest rates means the financial institution will need to offer investors a higher rate of interest. So, the investor also earns more. So, when the interest rate decreases, consumers are encouraged to borrow and spend more, thereby stimulating the economy. In a low interest rate environment, demand for the term deposits can decrease since investors can typically find alternative investment, the vehicles that pay the higher rate. So by this, typically interest rate should be proportional to the time until the maturity and minimum amount of principal lent to the credit union or banks. So in other words, 6-month term deposit will likely to pay a lower interest rate than a 2-year term deposits. So this is that. And next one we're going to see is opening or closing a term deposit. How we should open or close in a bank. Okay, it is a certificates of deposits. Opening or term deposit called certificate of deposit. The customers can view conditions of the term deposit via paper, the statement paper. Okay, the statement includes the required minimum principal amount, so the interest rate paid and duration and time to maturity as agreed by the bank and the depositors. So by this, if a customer wants to so by this, the loss of interest paid on the deposit account until the point. So closing the customer before the term ends, let the customers take back the principal amount invested but with the fortunate of the earned interest. So by this, the penalty for withdrawing prematurely or against the agreement is started at the time of opening a term deposit as required. Okay, so sometimes if interest rate has risen considerably, it might be worth, or sorry, it might be easy withdrawal and reinvest the funds elsewhere at a higher rate. So it is important to be sure that the relevant rate is high enough to more than compensate for the original rate on the term deposit plus the cost of penalty. So when a term deposit is nearing its maturity date, the bank holding and the deposit will usually send a letter notifying the customer of the upcoming maturity. In the letter, the bank will ask if the customer wants a deposit renewed again for the same length of maturity. So the rollover will likely be at a different rate based on the market interest rate at the time. So alternatively, the customer has the opinion of placing the funds in the another financial products. This is the investors holding retirement, which should speak the financial planner.